Hi, this is Benjamin with the Ecomdash support team. I'm going to be hosting our restocking webinar here today. I'm just going to take a few moments here while we wait for some more people to kind of roll in, but I did want to pop in, let you know that we'll be kicking this off here in just a few moments. Throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please feel free to submit them. Once the webinar is completed, I'd be happy to look through those and answer any questions you have. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll pop back in here in just a few moments. All right, great. I think we're going to go ahead and get started for some of the people who just joined. My name is Benjamin. I'm with the Ecomdash support team, and I'll be hosting this webinar today as we walk through using our restocking tools in Ecomdash to keep your products in stock, as well as see when you need to order them. So we'll go over some of those tools. So we'll start out here, just kind of the first slide. Normally I like to go over is a little bit of a what we're going to be looking at today. So first, it's normally good when we're talking about reordering and the various ways to do so is to go over the different product types in Ecomdash. So we'll start out with that. It's pretty general. If you've been using Ecomdash, you're probably familiar with this, but I do feel it is a good place to start since different product types are reordered in different ways. We're then going to go over suppliers, what they're used for in Ecomdash, how to set them up. Then we'll go through the actual process of reordering products. So if you need to create a PO, how to do so, different tools we have so that you know when to order, how much to order. Then we'll go over for our built products, utilizing our work order tool. So if you have items that are manufactured and not specifically ordered from another supplier, we'll go over that process. And then the last thing we'll really go over is internal transfers, moving products from one warehouse to another. If you order items from one supplier, gets delivered to warehouse A and you need to get it to warehouse B. That process is going to take you through that, show you how to make those movements. So to start out here with our Ecomdash product types, we're really going to focus on the three main types, which are standard products, kits, and built products. Now, standard product is just a single item within your Ecomdash account that you sell. Somebody buys it online, comes into Ecomdash, that exact item is reduced, you ship it out. When you go to reorder, you just reorder that individual item. Then we have kits, which are items that aren't technically packaged together, but you would like to offer them where somebody buys from your listing online. It comes in and reduces quantity from the individual items that make up that kit. In terms of restocking and what we're going to be talking about today, kits are ordered very similar to a standard product because ultimately you're not ordering the kit since they're not prepackaged together. You're ordering the individual standard items that make up that kit. So the slight difference there, but ultimately when it comes to reordering, you're doing it the same way. Then the biggest changes are built products. Built products are an item that you have to physically package together before you sell it. So whether it's a manufacturing process or you're just taking various items and physically packaging them together prior to sale, we'll go over the process to be able to handle those. So now we can go to a supplier. So now we kind of know what the standard product types are in Ecomdash. We can go through what is a supplier and how are they used. So in Ecomdash, suppliers have a very specific role. That role is to allow you to assign a supplier to a product for multiple reasons. One of them is to filter down your product list. So if you're in your inventory, and we can pull up an example here. If you're in your inventory and you want to sort and only see items that you purchase from a single supplier, you can do so using our All Suppliers dropdown. From here, you can come in, select the item. When you select it, it'll appear within your account, allowing you to see which items that you purchase from that supplier. Each item in Ecomdash can have a single supplier assigned to it. Now, what that allows you to do is you can say you have a particular supplier. You can define the SKU that that supplier used. So when you go to reorder this item, when you go to purchase it, so this isn't talking about drop shipping. This is talking about if you have the item and you need to get more of it. And in your system, you call this LE headlamp, you call it that SKU, but let's say LL Bean calls it SKU ABC. You can come in here and define that so that when you create a PO and you go to print that PO out, the SKU value we're going to use if you've assigned the supplier as LL Bean is going to be ABC instead of your SKU, so that when they get that purchase order, they can correctly pick the correct item and ship it out to you. As part of the supplier information, you can define what your cost is when purchasing that supplier, if you order by case, and then these two things down here at the bottom, these two fields, our average cost and our average landed cost. These are values that really are only going to give you value if you use our purchase order module. So the more you order and track your costs for each order, the more we can provide you a more accurate average cost and average landed cost. So the other option that we have in terms of what you can do with a supplier is they also save time when creating a PO. So when you create a supplier in Ecomdash, and that's actually the next step we're going to go through, so we're going to kind of piggyback on saves time when creating a PO. Get back to the screen here. So to create a supplier in Ecomdash, there's a few different options. One of them, every time you log into your account, takes you to the dashboard. You can come in here and you can add or edit a supplier. You can also access it at any time within the software by going to Settings, Supplier Setup. And so what I was mentioning when I'm saying it allows you to save time is when you create a supplier in Ecomdash, we give you various fields that you can pre-fill out so that every purchase order you create for that supplier in Ecomdash, you're not having to fill out these same addresses, the same contact information every single time. So you can come in here, say what their address is, and get all that information filled out. You can have as many suppliers as you need in Ecomdash. We do not put a limitation. Like I said, there is a limit in that you can only have one supplier per product, but you can create as many suppliers as you need. So if you come in here, fill all this information out and save, it'll appear here in your list of suppliers. If you do have an account number with that supplier, you can fill that out on this page. It won't really be used for anything other than internal purposes, and you'd be able to see that here as you see here for our books supplier. But basically you can quickly see that way if you ever do need to contact them here in Ecomdash, it gives you a reference to know what is my account number there when I give them a call so that they can get it pulled up. So again, really the main ways that a supplier is going to be used is it's like to filter out, and so that when you're creating a purchase order in Ecomdash, you can select the supplier, you can fill out their information so that you can email the purchase order to them and have some fields pre-filled for you so that you're not having to manually fill them out every supplier that you create. So now we'll actually get into reordering products. So before we actually go into how to create one, I do kind of like to talk about the benefits of creating a PO in Ecomdash because it is extremely important. While it's totally fine to do a purchase order outside of Ecomdash, when you get the items in, you come into Ecomdash, you manually change the quantities. Some of the things you're missing when you're doing that is we don't know what your cost is for that item. We don't know what you pay for shipping, for taxes, and we don't know how long it normally takes you to reorder those items. So from the time you order, how long does it normally take you to receive that? So if you create POs outside of Ecomdash, we lose a lot of that information. And what that means is a lot of our reports and some of the pages in Ecomdash aren't going to be able to provide you accurate information, say on when do you need to reorder, because we don't know that information. So what's really key is if you are looking for that out of Ecomdash, some of the purchase order or some of the reporting aspects, creating a PO in Ecomdash is key. The other thing it does give you is just it gives you a single place to add products on, say how many you need, and an easy way to receive them in. So rather than having to click into individual items and manually update their quantity when you receive an order in, we give you a single page that you can go in, update the quantity, or mark the whole thing as received. And so we'll go through that process here. One of the other things I like to mention when it comes to purchase orders, and we'll demonstrate that here, is one of the key things in Ecomdash or any online business or any business really, any retail business, is knowing when to reorder. So if we go back to our inventory, I'm going to click into a single item here so I can show you guys something. So within a product detail, so we click view next to an item in inventory management, one of the values that you see here right at the top is your reorder level. What the reorder level is this is the number where you would like to be notified that your item is considered low inventory, meaning you need to reorder more of it. So this can be set for each product differently. It can be set by manually typing in this value or by uploading a CSV file to set it. But once this is set, there's a lot of things that Ecomdash can do. Once that product hits, this one currently has 72 in stock, but once it hits a quantity of 5, it's considered low inventory, and a few things will happen at that point. One of them is it'll get placed onto our low inventory screen, and we'll take a look at that here in just a moment. The other thing that it'll do is you can set up alerts. Here under settings, general settings and alert settings, you can set up to get an email alert when an item hits its reorder level. So you can get an email, you can get a heads up knowing without even having to come into the software to know I need to get more of this item. The other thing I want to show you here on this page that can make things easier for you is our target inventory level. So what this allows you to do is this is the number you'd like to be at. So when reordering product, I would like to get this product to a quantity of 30. So what this saves you, or the time this saves you, is when you create a purchase order, our system will go ahead and default the reorder quantity to get you back to your target inventory level so that you don't have to fill out a quantity every time when you're creating a PO. So while this is not required, it is something that can be extremely useful and can save you time in the long run from having to manually type in, I need to order this amount. Our system will go ahead and calculate to try to get you back to that number. So now what we're going to do is I'll show you, I had mentioned this, our low inventory screen. So the low inventory screen is going to show you all your products where their quantity has dipped below their reorder level. And we can set this here to all suppliers so we can get some more examples in here. And there's some really good information provided to you on this page. So while we load up the rest of our suppliers, some of the things you'll notice here on this page is, we'll show you what your current quantity is. This is your quantity on hand. We will let you know if you're already ordering some of this item. We even give you a filter here. If you don't want to see an item that you're already reordering, sure, it's a low inventory, but I'm ordering more. I don't need to see it on this page. There is this checkbox here, exclude products on a purchase order, that you can click. It'll remove those items. You won't see them anymore. You can also use this to exclude kits or items where you have not set a reorder level, so they're defaulted to 0. Some of the other things that you're going to see on this page is our reorder by. So this was one of the things that I was kind of mentioning, that by creating purchase orders in Ecomdash, it allows us to provide you better information as to how much you need to order and when. So this reorder by, the way our system comes up with it is the more purchase orders you create in Ecomdash, the more we'll be able to see that how long it normally takes you to receive in a PO. So if we know for this particular item here, this Lysol personal water filter, that it takes you 30 days to receive this item in. But in a 30-day period, you're going to have an average sale of 60. This allows us to say, you need to order by this date to get quantity in to be able to cover those sales. So again, the more you use the purchase orders in Ecomdash, the more we're going to be able to provide you more accurate information, knowing how long it normally takes, as well as how many average monthly sales you have. And then you'll see over here, with our test data, we don't really have this all filled out, but as you get your orders in, you'd be able to see what you need to order to cover 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days of sales. And from this page also, you can go directly and create a PO. So if we find some items that are not already on a purchase order, so let's use this item here as an example, this bike chain. You can click this straight from here, go to add new, and create a purchase order. So then when you hover over this, you get a few options. So you can tell us to, when you put it on there, create a purchase order and try and meet the target level. So the quantity of this item is 9. Whatever its target level is, it's going to try and get it there. To cover a 30-day forecast, a 60-day, or a 90-day. So you have those options here. If you create a purchase order, kind of on your own, not from the low inventory page, but here in restock purchase orders, it's going to do the same thing. So you can create one from here. So to go through the actual process of creating a purchase order, best way to do it is to start, if you're not using the low inventory screen, you can do it from here also, but I do like to kind of go over the other option. The other way to create a purchase order is go to Restock, Restock Management, and click Purchase Orders, or you can click Restock Management and it'll take you there. But if we click Purchase Orders, it's going to come up. By default, it's going to go ahead and show us all the ones we have open. Can expand these to see what products are on the PO if we've added any. But we'll go ahead and we're going to create a new PO. All right. So once you get the purchase order created, you'll see this page. So here's your purchase order number. You can click edit to change it. So if you have existing PO numbers you want to continue, you can make that change there. By default, we'll say the create date is today's date, but you can click edit to make that change. Status of new means you have created the PO but have not yet submitted it. You can choose the employee that's creating the PO here. We'll default it to whichever account is logged in. And then here you can go ahead and define a supplier. So if you know you're going to be creating the PO for LL Bean, that's what you're going to be ordering from, you can go ahead and select that there. What that'll do is when we click add products to add some products to this PO, by default it's only going to show us our LL Bean items since that's what we said we're creating this PO for. So we're going to go ahead and click the blue add products button. I will go ahead and mention, if you do have if this is a first time supplier you're ordering from, straight from this page you can click this blue add new button to go ahead and create one. But for this example we'll go ahead and use our LL Bean. Okay, great. So when that page loads up, give you a little description here. You can pick existing products that are already in your inventory, or you can check this little button to create a new product. So if you are ordering something that you've never ordered before, you can go ahead and get your information in here. We're going to use this to pick an existing product. And so you'll see right away that some of these fields here are pre-filled out. What that means is what I mentioned with the target inventory level. So what that means is this item has a quantity of 6 and its target inventory level is 35. So it's saying you need to reorder, you need to order 29 of this item and get you back to target. If you click the green plus, it's going to go ahead and add that item to the PO with a quantity of 29. It'll also keep the check mark here so that you can know you added it. So if you have one where you don't have a reorder level set, this item has 27 in stock, no target, so we didn't pre-fill it out there for you, or it's above its target. But let's say you want to add more, you can put a 5 in there. And then you can click add to add it to the PO. You'll notice there's also the checkbox option. What that's for is if you want to go through and put a bunch on at the same time, you can do so, check the box next to it, and then click add to purchase order. But if you do the green plus, it's just like a shortcut. It just goes ahead and adds it on there. You can also filter by warehouse to see, if you want to reorder and have it sent to your My Warehouse, you can filter by that, and then that's going to let you know, we'll set this back here, basically what your stock is at that warehouse, so that you can see your total quantity and then your warehouse quantity. So we're going to go back, and we'll see both of these items here. So, the numbers we typed in there went ahead and filled out. You can also take a look here. This is going to let you know that this item's already on a PO. So if you want to keep it on there and order some more, you can do it, or you can click this to view the PO that it's already on and just go with that, and you can remove it. So you'll see if the cost was set for the item, we're going to go ahead and fill it out here. If you filled out a supplier SKU, it'll throw it here as well. Then we'll go ahead and give you a merchandise total. If you get a discount, you can type that in there. If you know what your shipping and handling is going to be, $10, you can put it in there, your sales tax, $1, and then you can click save. And then we're going to give you an order total. Once you have a discount, or discount, shipping and handling, or sales tax, we're going to be able to then give you a landed unit cost, because we're going to be able to take the $4.99 and then take into account its share of its discounts, shipping and handling, and sales tax. We do also give you a comment section down here to fill out. Here in the bill to section, on this PO, you fill out what the bill to address is, so you can fill that out as your address. And then the ship to, you can either pre-fill this out, or you can choose a warehouse that's in your account, and if you filled out the street information, the address information for that warehouse will pre-fill all of this information here for you, so that you don't have to fill it out every time. So once you're ready to submit the PO, you've got everything here. You can click submit. So that basically means it's now waiting to be received. You'll notice that now that I click submit, I got a new tab called receipt of goods, which this is where you would be able to come in here and put in the information. So if it was shipped out, you can tell us what carrier was used, what its tracking number was used, its estimated delivery, and then once it's actually delivered, you can come in here and put its actual delivery date. So simply by clicking submit, this isn't sending the purchase order out to anyone. It's simply submitting it in Ecomdash, saying that now it's waiting to be received. So if you do want to get it out to your supplier, what you can do is you have a few options. You can print the purchase order. So if you come in here, click print, we're going to give you a PDF version of the purchase order that you can save, you can print, and attach to an email, send it out however you'd like. But this could be your PO. We give you the purchase order number, date, created date, the employee asking for it, the address filled out, the supplier information. We'll fill all of that out here for you. The other option we give you is to email it straight out of Ecomdash. So and these buttons are available on any of these tabs. But if you click email, we'll take you to this page where we'll default the from to your email address. Then you can put the to, you can copy somebody, you can put a subject, and then you can put in the body, and then we'll include this information in the email just as text, or you can check this box to attach the PDF of the purchase order. And then we click send email. We're going to send that out to the email address you've chosen. It makes it real easy, so you don't even have to leave Ecomdash to get that out there. So let's say we've emailed this purchase order, and now it's been a few days later and they've gotten it back to us. They shipped it to us through FedEx, tracking number 111111. Estimated delivery was Friday the 28th. We got it a day early on Thursday, the 27th. So what you can do from here is, let's say they didn't send all of it. So you got all of the tactical survival bracelets. So we got 5 of those in stock. You got them in at your My Warehouse is where they shipped them to, because that was what we defined as the ship to address. But we didn't get all of the aluminum percolator coffee pots. We only got 12 of them. I would like to mention, we do make it very easy. Let's say they did go ahead and send you every single item that you ordered. You can simply check this receive entire order box. It'll go ahead and receive it. Excuse me. It'll put the full quantity in here and fill it out so that you don't even have to type it in. So if you've got a really long PO, you don't have to come in, fill it out for each one. If you got the whole thing, you can check that box. But I do want to kind of demonstrate if it was partial. One thing that I think is extremely important, and I like to mention to any user I speak to as they're trying out a purchase module for the first time, once a PO has been marked, once a single item on a PO has been received, whether it's a partial quantity or full quantity, at that point the PO can no longer be edited, as the information has been saved and is right away going to be used in various reports. So as it stands, as soon as you receive an item, you can edit it. So I do highly recommend that if you're going to take advantage of this feature, before receiving any items, make sure you have everything filled out correctly, the cost, the address, the correct products. Once you've confirmed all of that, you can come here, you can click save. As soon as I click save, that is going to go ahead and add those quantities I received to these products. And it'll tell you, or you've received 5 of 5 for this one, you received 12 of 29 for this one. The order's in a partially received status, letting you know that you still have to receive some more. So in this case, let's say another day they send the rest of them. You can click receive entire order. We'll default that to get you back to that total. Say 0 on that. We'll click save. And the PO is now in a fully received status and is now complete. From this, if you reorder items a lot, like the same group of a PO, you can clone it from here as well. So instead of having to create a PO from scratch, if you reorder the same 5 items from the same supplier every time, you can simply click the clone button. So that kind of takes you through the full process of creating a PO, what it can be used for, what the various fields mean. And if we go back here to our purchase order section, these filters allow you to see, you can see all my suppliers for LL Bean. I can see all my received POs, all my open, all my new, submitted, partially received if I've canceled it. From this page also, if you integrate Ecomdash with QuickBooks or Xero, you can use Ecomdash to route a purchase receipt to those sites once the PO is completed. So if it's in a received status, you can check the box next to it, click Export Accounting, and choose which accounting software you want to send it to. And we'll go ahead and get it over there so that you'll have that receipt. Again, this can only be done once an order is received in Ecomdash. So that's kind of the purchase orders process. Again, kind of is just a recap on that, since there is a lot there. The real benefits is it gives you a single place to be able to manage that PO, receive in the quantities, see the information, and it allows you to get better results when using the reporting functionality. So the Ecomdash can return a better idea of your cost, of your landed cost, and how often you need to reorder these items. And then we provide you various tools to give you those heads ups. So we have our low inventory page. We also have within our reporting section is a purchasing section of reports that'll give you all kinds of information, including a really nice one called our restock forecast, which takes some of the information we saw on the low inventory page and really kind of blows it out, gives you a lot more. So again, purchase orders are used for standard items. You can add a kit to a PO. All it does, though, if you add a kit to a PO, is just add the standard items that make up that kit to that PO, since a kit technically isn't a physical item. It's just a way for you to group together items before sale. So now we're going to get into work orders, manufacturing, building products. So, I'd mentioned POs can be used for kits and for standard items. Ultimately, the only thing you'll see on a PO is a standard item. Like I said, if you add a kit, it'll just show the standard items on it. But the other type of item that you quote, need to reorder is a built product. So what a built product is, and I do like to make this clear because there is a pretty big difference in how a built product and a kit is handled in Ecomdash. So a kit, you're not truly bundling the items together until they're purchased. Before they're purchased, they're sitting in separate locations on your shelves. Maybe they're sitting together, but they're not physically packaged together. They can still be sold individually and also bundled if somebody purchases it. With a built product, you're using up the materials to put them together, meaning you're truly packaging it together at that point. So you take items, combine them before sale. They're no longer available to be sold on their own. They're now as one. So if you need to get more of those, the process we have is a work order, where basically you say, I need 10 of this item, and create the work order. It'll tell you the items that make that up, how many it takes to build it. You put it together and then tell us when it's done. So what this can allow you to do is, again, give you a single place to manage this. But if information's filled out, we can actually let you know what the labor cost of this item is. So you can say, how many hours does it normally take to build one of these? And then if you fill out the hourly wage for your employees, we can give you an employee cost, a labor cost that it takes. If I need 10 of these and it takes an hour, I know it's going to take 10 hours for this to be built, and I paid this person X. Then we can come up with a labor cost for it. We can also give you a material cost by taking how much it costs, how much the individual items cost to put those together. So what we'll go through here is we'll walk through creating a work order within Ecomdash. Back into the account here. And what we'll do before we actually go through the process of the work order is we'll locate a built product here within the account. Perfect. So we've got a bike here. So let's click into this bike. And one thing you'll notice is, unlike a kit, a built product, you can change the quantity for. It still has an inventory tab because, again, this is a physical item on your shelf that you've packaged together, unlike a kit where it's shared. So for a kit, we pre-calculate its quantity based on how much of the individual items you have in stock. Here for a built product, you can still come in and say how many you have in stock. It just allows you to keep track of the items it takes when you normally build those using the work order. So using this item as an example, it's a great example. We've got this bike. My company here is we put it together. So it takes 2 wheels, a bike chain, a bike seat, and the handlebars to put this bike together. You can see what the cost is for each of these items, your current quantity on hand for each of these items, and then what it requires to build it. So then we can say the total cost by taking this information and putting it together here for you. So let's say we need to get more of these bikes. We currently have 6 in stock. Our target inventory level is 25. So I would like to build 19 more of these bikes. So let's go ahead. We're going to copy this SKU. We're going to create a work order for this bike. So we're going to restock management and work orders. We're going to click add new. Let's say I need this by October 5th. So we've got the bike here. All right, so we've got the bike added. From this page, you can expand it, see each of the items it takes, what their SKU is, what it requires, and what the current quantity on hand of each of these items. So our system, because a target inventory level was set, went ahead and put its reorder unit quantity to 19 to try and get us back to target. We're then going to figure out here our material costs. So taking all this information provided for each of the individual items, the cost plus what it takes to build it for 19 of them. We can tell you what the material cost is. Again, if you fill out an hourly wage, and here I'll actually pop back into the SKU here for a built product so you can see where you can fill out the hours and the information it takes to build it. Oh, see this here, total build hours. So you can fill that out. So, we can say it takes 1 hour to build one. So if we come back in here, if you fill out a labor cost, we'll be able to tell you how much it is. And then overall, we can give you a landed unit cost. So right now, since there is no labor cost, it's just taking the quantity minus the cost of the materials and giving us for each item, it cost me $83.95. So then what you want to do is from this page, you would submit this. At that point, basically, you're saying you've added the products in. Now it's time for it to get worked on. So from here, your employees can go into yourself, or your employees can come into Restock, go to work orders, and see the order in there, knowing that it needs to get done. So a good way to do it, if we, now that it's been submitted, we can do this. If we go to Restock Management and then go into work orders, we'll see all open. And so we'll see the one that was created today here. And so you can know, I want to see all of my submitted work orders. These are the ones I need to get done. So you click into here, can see what needs to get built. All right, I need 19 of these, and it's going to take each of these items to put this together. So once you or your employee has gone through the process of building these items, you then go to its manufactured tab. It's a you've fully completed. You're able to get it done, a little bit early, have it done by Wednesday, 10/3, and you can come in here and say, I've built all 19 of these. Or again, you can click the mark all as built, and then you can click save. One thing I don't know if I mentioned on the purchase orders, but I'll bring it up again because it's similar here. You can mark a work order or a purchase order as closed, before you get everything received. So let's say you send out a purchase order and they've run out of an item and they're never getting it back. You can still mark it as closed before you get that. That's not a problem. But here, if we had 19, we click save. So the way a work order works is when I click save on this, what's going to happen is the quantity of the Diamondback Bicycles Line Hardtail mountain bike is going to increase by 19, and the quantity of the materials it takes to build this item are going to be reduced at that moment by how much it takes to go into each one of these. So, for most of the items, it took 1. For the wheels, it took 2 to build this. When I click save, those quantities it took to build this are reduced. They're no longer available for sale individually. They are now used up as part of this bike. And as with purchase orders and with work orders, once you complete it, as soon as quantity changes, Ecomdash is at that point queuing up a sync to each of your sites to let them know that quantity has changed, and so that now you can sell even more of these items. Quantity on hand of this bike is back to 25, and the quantities of the individual items. So in this case, we took them all negative, but you'll see we will let you know what you have on each of those, and they will be reduced at the time of saving. And you can always come back and reference, see what was built, where it's received. So that's for a work order. Just kind of to recap for the building manufacturing items, the key reason to use a built product is if you have items that you physically package together before selling them, the built product's the way to go to properly increase the quantity of a built product and reduce the quantity of materials it takes to build it. The work order's the way to do so. And you can create that by going to Restock, Restock Management, and Work Orders. Again, I do want to mention, just in case we've had anybody pop in here late, if you have any questions, feel free to submit them. Once we get to the end of this, I'll be able to answer any of them for you guys if you have any. So the last real section here that we go over within Restock Management is internal transfers. So what an internal transfer does is this gives you a way to see the movement of items between warehouses. So if you have multiple warehouses, and just kind of as a refresher, depending on how familiar you are with the software, how long you've been using it, a warehouse in Ecomdash is each physical location where you store, where you have inventory. So what our internal transfer system allows you to do, allows you to easily move quantities from one place to another. So when you take that bike, and let's say you want to send it from your warehouse to your warehouse in the next state over, you can create an internal transfer. Say you're going to send 10 of them over, and then when you mark it as in transit, at that point quantity is removed from the originating warehouse so that you can't sell it while it's in transit, so you avoid any awkward, oversell situation or anything like that while you don't actually have it physically on hand. And then once it arrives at the destination warehouse, you can come back into Ecomdash, say it's been received, quantity gets boosted back up for that destination warehouse, and we send that out to each of your sites, letting them know that you've got more available again. The internal transfer feature in Ecomdash can also be used to create inbound shipments to Amazon FBA. So if you've got items that are set up as FBA items, you can create an inbound shipment as an internal transfer in Ecomdash. Tell them what you're going to be sending. When you mark it as in transit, Ecomdash will create the inbound shipment in Amazon. And you can print out your labels, print out your box labels, and then when FBA receives it, the quantity will automatically get adjusted back. So it can be used to do inbound shipments to FBA as well. But now we'll go through the process of what it's like to do an internal transfer in Ecomdash. You get that loaded up here back into Ecomdash. We're going to go to Restock, Internal Transfers. All right, great. And so similar for each of these various tabs, the work orders tabs, the purchase orders tabs, we give you a list so that you can see, all of your open internal transfers, the ones that are in transit, the ones that are brand new, that have been received, have been canceled. Or you can filter to see, I want to see my ones that where the origination warehouse was set at my warehouse and the destination was this. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a new one. And so let's say here, we're going to send some from our dropship warehouse. We want to have some actually in our location. So we've got an off-site warehouse that's storing some stock. I want to move it into my own. So we're going to click Add Products. Okay, we'll go through, grab some items here. Okay, let's get this on here. Okay, and so what this page allows you to do is we're going to show you what the stock is you have at your destination. So that would be your 2. So at your My Warehouse, we've got 7 of this item, 36 of this item, and 25 of this item. And the origination is 0. Let's get rid of these here and flip around the order of this just to make it a little more clear for you guys. We're going to start it here as My Warehouse, and we're actually going to send it off-site to our dropship warehouse. All right, let's pop back in here. Okay, perfect. So again, this is your origination, so where you're starting out, your My Warehouse. So we've got a quantity of 3 there. We've got a quantity of 45 of this item. We've got a quantity of 7. At our dropship warehouse, it's out of stock for both of these items, and they only have 10 here. So we want to move some quantities over. So what we're going to do is we want them to receive, say, 2 of these, 23 of these, and let's say 7 more of these. You'll see it went ahead and pre-filled out over here on the quantity to send. The reason we have this option is, if you need to map products differently, you can change the SKU. You can say, I'm sending 1, but at FBA they're actually going, or I'm sorry, at my destination warehouse they're only going to count that as 1. So I'm sending 2, but they're going to count it as 1. You can edit that information here. But if you're just doing a straightforward transfer, all you want to do is fill out the quantity to receive. It'll pre-fill quantity to send. So then you can say, I've put it together. I've gotten I've put it in a box and shipped it out. It's tracking number 11111. We used FedEx, and its current estimated delivery date is Friday. So we can save, and then we're going to mark it as in transit. So marking as transit is like submitting it out there. So when I clicked mark as in transit, at that moment, the quantity that I typed in here was immediately removed from stock from your origination warehouse for all of these items, and is now no longer available for sale. So when you click mark as in transit, that's going to queue up a message out to the sales channels letting you know that you have less stock right now because it's in between warehouses, you can't sell it. So while it's in between, if we click into any of these items, we do give you a heads up within its quantity so that you can see, you've got an open internal transfer for it so that you can understand why your quantities may be off. So you'll see here, in transit to this location, 2 of them are being sent. And if you click that, it'll take you to your internal transfer page where you'll see it here. So again, as soon as you click mark as in transit, that quantity is removed from the destination warehouse and from your quantity, or from the origination and from your quantity, and we've communicated that quantity update out to your site. So then at this point, let's say the shipment arrived safe and sound. Every single item made it there. We can click mark all as received. So we sent 2, 23, and 7, pre-filled this out, and we can save. And then we can, and when you click that in as received, then we want to come in here, click mark as received. That's going to add the stock back into your destination warehouse, and you'll see the destination now has the quantity we sent over. So this one was out of stock, it now has 2. This one was out of stock, it now has 23. This one had 10, it now has 17 because we sent 7 over there. And then your originations have a lower quantity as well, since that's where we sent it from. So again, this is a really great tool that allows you to very quickly throw products on there, say how much you're sending, and get them received so that you ensure if it's in between warehouses, those items aren't being sold, and then when you get them there, adds the quantity back in by receiving it. So those are the 3 major points of our restock management: purchase orders, work orders, and internal transfers. We do have the ability to upload POs into Ecomdash. If you don't want to create them manually, you can upload them, and you'll find that action. You'll find that here in our actions. To be able to do that, there would be a CSV file, and what you would do is, since purchase orders are supplier based, here within your supplier, you can check a box to manually import purchase orders, and if you save, you'll get an import format that you can create a mapping telling us what the columns are in your PO file so that you can successfully upload it. And so, we let you know, hey, purchase order number, SKU number, and order status are required to be able to upload it. So if you fill all that information out and save, you can upload a PO in Ecomdash by coming in here, restock, upload purchase orders. So we do have that option as well. The other options here on the restock actions, just another quick way to add a new PO, add a new work order, or add a product transfer without having to click into restock management. And then from our dashboard, just kind of is a final overview here of the restock section. We do give you the quick update here. Here's how many open POs you have. Here's how many open work orders you have, and how many open internal transfers. Every single one of these things on this page is a link, and if you click it, it's going to take you right to that page. So, every time you log in, it takes you to the dashboard, gives you an overview of how many open POs, work orders, and internal transfers you have, and allows you to go to that very quickly. All right, so that was kind of the wrap up there. Basically, the key reason to use these features in Ecomdash is so that you can get accurate information in your reports, so that you can accurately see where your stock is if it's moving between a warehouse to another, so that you can accurately create built items and see what your raw materials are, how they're being used, how much you're using up to create that item, and the total cost for it, the material cost, the labor. Using all of these are really going to benefit you by, again, giving you a single place in Ecomdash to view all of that information, and so that we can turn around and give you quality information to help you run your business, and you can kind of know what's going on. So we will take this last little bit to go over some questions you may have. All right, doesn't look like we have any questions being submitted at this point. No worries. Myself and the rest of our support team are always available to answer any questions you may have if they come up later, or if you're reviewing a recorded version of this video. You can always reach out to support@ecomdash.com. We're happy to answer any questions that way. If you're a subscriber to Ecomdash, you can take advantage of live chat within the software, where we're happy to answer any questions. Or you can schedule a call with us by navigating over the question mark icon in the top right hand corner and selecting schedule a call. We do also have a support site, support.ecomdash.com, where we offer various guides, tutorials, FAQs that go over some of the workflows in Ecomdash. Again, how to create a PO, how to create a work order, how to upload a purchase order, how to create an internal transfer. Those can all be accessed at support.ecomdash.com. And we do have our next webinar coming up in just a little under a month, is our Expand Your Business with Multi-Channel Listing. I believe it's going to be currently scheduled to be hosted by our one of our support specialists, Brian, who's going to take you through the process of creating listings across each of your channels within Ecomdash. So again, that's going to be on October 24th, 2018 at 2 p.m. Eastern time, just like the one was today. So thanks again for joining me here today, guys. We really appreciate it. As I mentioned, please reach out if you have any questions. We're all happy to help if we can. So with that, I hope you have a great day, and thanks a lot. Bye-bye.